Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about my monthly wrap up that is going to span the last 3 months. All right, so if you all are joining me, just know that I have not done a monthly wrap up since the end of July, and I think that it's long overdue for one. So I am going to tier rank the last 3 months, which would be August, September, and October, but I'm going to put it into a tier ranking based on whether or not I'd recommend them to you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my tier ranking, and I'm going to cover the categories, and then we'll jump right into it. So my top tier is going to be, oh hell yeah. Like, would I recommend this to you? Oh hell yeah, I would. I think that you need to read it. Personally, I probably need to reread it. Let's do a buddy read and kind of have a consensus about whether or not this is top tier excellent. Now, right under that, I'm going to say, yes, please. Like, do I read this? Yes, please do yourself a favor. Please do me a favor. I think it's a great read. Yes, please. Now, my middle tier is probably going to be the thickest. I've had quite a bit of middle of the road reads, but that's going to be where I say, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't feel negatively about it. I don't feel too terribly positive about it. But if you want to read it, and I'm going to say, yeah, I guess you could. Right under that, probably your second from lowest tier is going to be, yeah, no. Like, yeah, at the time I thought it was a good idea. I tried it and I'm determined it was a no for me. Now, my bottom tier, meaning that I did the work so you don't have to, is just going to be just no. Like, do I read it? No. Would I recommend it? No. So those are my tier rankings. I know this is going to be quite a long video, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the first read being Daniel Allen's Continuum. Now, this is a somewhat of a second chance novella that I absolutely loved and adored. Danielle Allen has been hitting it out the park for me. I read another one on this list, what we'll talk about today, but this is going to be in a yes, please category. Should you read it? Yes, please. Do yourself that favor. Pick it up. Let me know what you think. Now, my next one after that, I did a video for Older Woman, Younger Man. Tasha L. Harrison actually killed it. Like, she knocked it out the park with If She Says Yes. This is a situation where the older heroine is actually starting to have interest with her son's best friend, and he has come into town for the wedding, and they hit it off really nicely. So for this, I'm going to say yes, please. I would tell you, if you are a fan of Older Woman, Younger Man, would be an oh hell yeah. But for everyone else, this is definitely something that I would highly encourage. So that being said, I'm going to put it at a yes, please. Now, Arjun is by, I believe it's Diane Whitmore. This is a funny contemporary fiction about a senior living assisted home. And you've got various different characters experiencing life, what it looks like on the other side, right? Typically, we think of senior living assistants as stuffy places where the elderly are wasting away. But let me tell you, in this next gen or our gen book, it is pure comedy gold. You've got characters that smoke weed. You've got characters that are cheating on each other within other people in the home. They're dealing with their children and coming to grips with what they want out of life. So I'm going to tell you, if that is something that you're interested in, I would highly encourage you to pick it up. It is quite messy. It has a good amount of drama. So for that, I would say yes, please. The next one is going to be Crimes of Passion by Jack Harbin. Now, I will tell you, novellas are typically a hit or a miss for me. So usually I'm either going to absolutely love it or I'm going to absolutely detest it. There's no really middle of the road with novellas because there's a short amount of time to grab my attention. But Jack Harbin absolutely did that with Crimes of Passion. So I'm going to put this at an oh hell yeah. This is a novella that is based off a podcast, and it is Rivals to Lovers. They are tasked with doing an episode to satisfy the mother of one of their fans who the fan had passed away. And so I absolutely loved it. Audiobook for this, I think, is the only possible option, but the narrator killed it. Another novella that I read for the month of October that was Halloween theme was Hollow's Grove by Lee Jacott. This is a best friend's brother situation. Pure perfection. Lee Jacott has an entire series based on holidays, and I plan on picking the next one up for Christmas. And so you'll see that her pop up on my recently read quite a bit because Hollow's Grove absolutely knocked it out the park. My next option is Sign Here by Claudia Lux. This is a horror thriller that I was very surprised to read. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you, if that's something that interests you and you're open-minded to be able to determine whether or not something is morally acceptable to you, this centers around a member of Hale that is required to get signatures to determine whether or not he can redo his life and come back and reset himself on Earth. And this really sets your moral compass back to the 0 meter for you to start over and determine what works for you. So for that, I'm going to put it at yes, please. I read Farah Roshan's The Boyfriend Project, which was really at a standpoint, I want to put it at a yeah, I guess, but honestly, this one is pretty much at a probably yeah, no. This entire series so far, I've read 2 out of 3, and they're very middle of the road for me. I really enjoy having her create narratives or create stories based on women in STEM, women in fitness, because you've got the dating plan as well, which I'm going to put that one at yeah, I guess. This series deals with women that are boss babes that create a solid bond and friendship with one another, but it doesn't leave me wanting more. I'm just going to power through the series. So it's, like I said, a middle of the road. Boyfriend Project is at a yeah, no. I probably, in hindsight, if I didn't already own the books, I probably wouldn't have continued with the series. Now, if you read Books That Make Me Cry, I absolutely love something that is emotionally hard hitting. And Karina Halley was actually on my 3rd strike list. But she absolutely killed it with My Life in Shambles. And so for that alone, I'm going to put it in oh hell yeah. Like, this is a heart-wrenching story that I absolutely loved and gave 5 stars to. If you're like me and haven't really vibed with Karina Halley's stories, I would tell you to give My Life in Shambles a chance because it is such an emotional read and it is a fantastic book. So that for that reason alone, because it did make me cry, I'm going to put it at oh hell yeah. Now, N.G. Peltier had Sweet Hand, which is a enemies to lovers wedding season theme where you've got the sister of the bride is the maid of honor and her rival is going to be the best man, and they have to kind of work together for wedding season. I thought, again, this was very middle of the road for me, so I would tell you I'd like for you to make your own determination, and for that reason, I'm going to put it at yeah, I guess. Now, Accidental Pinup was a surprise to me. I had been hearing pretty great things from the authors that blurb this. You've got Farah Roshan, who is also, like I said, on this list. And then I believe Denise Williams also blurbed this, which I love Denise Williams. So I had to pick this up. I do have a video that talks specifically about this, and this is great plus size representation. Romance centers rivals to lovers as well. I would put The Accidental Pinup at yeah, I guess. It didn't necessarily blow my socks off, but I really did enjoy it for what it was. It was a good palate cleanser fresh book that really helped me to vibe with the idea of having that conversation about what it looks like to work in an environment where the standard of beauty is not necessarily you, and how you can be overlooked, but you change and craft that narrative to fit what you desire and make a way for other people. So for that, I really did enjoy The Accidental Pinup, but I'm going to put it at a yeah, I guess. Irresponsible Puck Boy is a friends to lovers male hockey romance. And for that, I absolutely thought I was going to love it. I knew that this was going to be a 5-star, but for whatever reason, the two of the characters did not necessarily click and vibe to me. I felt like one person was more interested than the other, and it was kind of an experiment. And for that, I would put it at probably a yeah, no. I didn't necessarily love it. I probably wouldn't recommend it. Even if you are a hockey romance reader, I will tell you that the first in a series, which is Egotistical Puck Boy, which I did read right before this, and so that's here. I'm going to go ahead and move Egotistical Puck Boy. That is actually going to be at oh hell yeah. I absolutely loved it. Like, that was a stellar read for me. So if you're interested in Egotistical Puck Boy, you're looking for that rivals to lovers. Again, you all are starting to see a trend with the books that I've been reading. That is going to be oh hell yeah for me. But Irresponsible Puck Boy, yeah, no, you can skip that one in the series. I did mention that Danielle Allen is stellar when it comes to some of her novellas. For the month of October, I did read her Halloween novella, which was Booed Up, and I really, really enjoyed it. Again, novellas are held at a different standard for me because it's either a hit or a miss. And so if you're looking for something for the Halloween season, definitely pick up Booed Up. It is going to be a oh hell yeah if you are a novella type of gal or guy. I participated in the 12 for 12 challenge, and one of the books that was recommended to me is The Banned Bookshop of Maggie Banks. This is actually going to be at a yeah no for me. I was grateful that someone recommended, and I really do understand why it was recommended to me, specifically because right now there is an abundance of banning of books, and I am more candid about, making sure that we are reading banned books, we are supporting our local libraries, that we are making sure to help others know that it is okay to read things that may be different of an opinion for you or a little bit controversial. But this book didn't necessarily hit like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to actually touch on specific books that are being banned, and this was more so a light, softer approach at whether or not this particular book wanted to discuss the actual real life details, and that's not what I thought I was going to get. So for me, it's at a yeah, no. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I'm sure there's plenty other conversations or books that would talk about it more in depth to my particular liking, but I appreciate someone for recommending it to me. I read Your Ex's Hexes by April Asher, which is a paranormal romance. This is a second in the series, and I adored it. That's going to be at a yes, please, for me. I love a good Richie romance. And this is a witch, and she is dating a half demon who is a veterinarian, and I just gobbled it up. Like I said, I love paranormal romance. I love witchy romance. I really don't think that one ever is going to be at the bottom rankings, but this one definitely landed with a comedy. Now, I've got a controversial one. I was very interested in reading CM Nacosta's Run One Rabbit for Novellathon. I heard absolutely amazing things about this one. It is a dark Omega-verse, and I absolutely hated it. It is going to be at a just no. This right here put me in a mood. I went on a full 5 to 8 minute rant about this book and how much I really disliked it, simply because this was not a romance to me. This was more so of a situation where the female main character was pining, and it wasn't a mutual pining. It was very much her being in a situationship with someone and never getting the just due that she deserved to be in a relationship until he was just like, okay, whatever, I'll throw you a bone. And it really pissed me off. So for that reason, I definitely knew going into this tier ranking that this book would be in the just no category. I did finish the series of Lauren Asher's Dreamland Billionaires, and Final Offer was the last book in that series that I needed to read. And I had really high expectation because Cal in book 2 was the funniest character I had read in a very long time. However, his book was more somber than I thought it was going to be. And it seemed like the character had a little bit of a personality shift. So for me, I put it at a yeah, I guess. If you are a completionist and you've read the other 2 books in the series and you want to see Cal get his happily ever after, definitely pick it up. It does have some really touching and deep conversations. However, it wasn't what I expected. So I'm going to put it at a, mid-level for me. It wasn't something I absolutely loved, but I did not hate it like I did Terms and Conditions. So for that, I'm going to put it at a yeah, I guess. I read Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly, and this is a pretty touching story. I am going back and forth between whether I loved Part of Your World more than Yours Truly. Again, a little bit similar to Final Offer in that there was a little bit of a personality shift with Bianca in the book of Part of Your World versus what she was like in her book, but that did not stop me from enjoying it. So I'm going to tell you, this is definitely going to be at a yes, please. Like, if you are a fan of Abby Jimenez, or you're looking for an emotional, touching story that is going to just put a smile on your face and have an appreciation for the people in your life, I'm going to tell you Yours Truly will definitely do that for you. So yes, please pick it up. If not this one, any book by Abby Jimenez, honestly. Now, my favorite read of October should not come as any surprise. I have been screaming this from the rooftops. I read this during Novellathon. It is Keisha Thompson, Holding Back the Years. I have to put this at, oh hell yeah. Like, I love and adore this book. Keisha Thompson is 2 for 2 for me. She is on her way to becoming an auto-buy author. If it keeps going like this, Holding Back the Years is definitely going to be that telltale sign where I'm going to be able to say I knew back when. Is a story kind of similar to Arjun that starts in a nursing facility or senior living assisted facility where the female main character is going to visit her grandfather. She runs into the male main character, takes interest in him, and then we get to see their romance blossom. One is a serial monogamous that is desiring marriage, where the other one is a little bit put off and is a commitment phobe. And you get to see them build towards their relationship, but they do have a third act breakup that really shows how they're at an impasse, and I loved seeing them work through that. Now, for the Older Woman, Younger Man book, I did read Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. This is going to be at a yeah, I guess. I really thought that I was going to love this more than I did. Most people say this was definitely their top tier when it comes to Older Woman, Younger Man. But for me, because I read Tasha L. Harrison, there was nothing that was going to be able to compare to that. Similarly with Mercy. So from a comparison level, I didn't love it as much. I did not feel the connection between the characters as I wanted to, but it's not a bad book by any means. So I'm going to put it at a yeah, I guess. If this is going to be your first foray into that dynamic, Pool Boy would be a very good start. I read Grumpy Romance. I do not remember what the author's name is, but I'll put it up on the screen. This is a workplace romance between a billionaire and his new assistant. This is fairly long. I did read it in mixed media. I'm going to put this at yeah, I guess. I actually thought this was going to be a nanny and billionaire romance, but I believe that's the second in the series. This had its very cute moments and themes. I believe that this also has a little bit of fake dating. The daughter plays a cute, precious moment in their connection, but it's at a yeah, I guess. For me, Solstice Dream by Alexis Daria, I'm going to put that at just no. I am so excited to read more of Alexis Daria. This is a novella. I think it may be only 50 pages or so. It really did not leave a lasting impression of me. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. By no means does that mean I don't support Alexis Daria. It just means that this wasn't the book for me. I did read You Again by Kate Gobeck. I'm going to put this at a yeah, I guess. I picked this up because while I was at Steamy LitCon, I had a person that was reading this that absolutely adored it, ranted and raved, and said how much they love it. For me, this was a little too quirky. The female main character and the main male character, I could see where the dynamics were very cute in terms of how their friendship built, but I didn't love it. I absolutely loved the end. In terms of something that happens on their anniversary. But outside of that, it was a take it or leave it moment for me. Now, you all know I absolutely love J.L. Seeger's Revive Me Part 3. I'm going to put it at a yes, please. Now, this is the third in a trilogy, and it is the wrap-up story of Mallory and Chris. I have loved their journey every single step of the way. There was something that was missing for me. I'm pretty sure it is revenge and retribution for Chris's father. To my personal taste and liking, the man deserves to burn in hell, but that's, neither here nor there. I know J.L. Seegers didn't necessarily want to step all the way into her villain bag, even though she gave me just enough to satisfy me. And I think that's the reason why it's not at a oh hell yeah. But overall, anything that J.L. Seegers does in this New Haven series, oh hell yeah, pick it up. But for this one particular book, I'm going to put it at a yes, please. C.P. Harris is a recent author that I have started to pick up. This is the second in the Infidelity series. If you do not like cheating tropes, do not read this. This is a male age gap best friend's father that I gobbled up like Christmas turkey. Like The Fisherman by C.P. Harris. Like, I thought I loved the first in the series, but I did not know love until I read The Fisherman. These two books, the entire series so far, it's only 2 out, but it is chef's kiss. Again, if you do not like the cheating trope, do not read either one of these. C.P. Harris definitely did not shy away from the taboo forbiddenness in this series, but I think that makes it the more delicious for me. It definitely has a good concept and grasp of knowing what it means to sacrifice and knowing where, your boundaries and priorities lie. There is also very good hurt comfort representation. I never understood what the hurt comfort trope was until I read The Fisherman, and I'm going to tell you this is the gold standard for me. I did read or get an art copy of Ashley James's Whiskey Nights and Neon Dreams. I came in with certain expectations that this was going to be a taboo forbidden romance. It is male between the one main character who happens to take interest, this is a bi awakening, takes interest in his girlfriend's uncle. And I had preconceived notions. I will tell you, go in with an open mind, and I would put this at a yeah, I guess, right? I want you to be able to frame your own understanding and your own thoughts of it. I came in with preconceived notions, so it didn't land the mark of what I exactly came in and I wanted, but I can respect it and I understand. This is very dark. It has some serious topics and content warnings that you do need to be mindful of. I do want to make sure I state that. So coming in with the right frame of mind without coming in with expectations is going to be really important as you jump into that storyline. I did read Soren, which is a male vampire romance. This is fated mates. This is a situation where it is one-sided pining. The other one is not necessarily interested. This is a romance between the vampire and the doctor. I'm going to tell you, this is at a yes, please. I loved this. I do want to go back and read the first in the series. I know that this is a full series that's out. I think there's about 5 books. I will definitely be continuing with this because I am looking for more vampire stories that have some of those elements that are fresh and new and exciting. So Soren by, I believe it's Gray Bryan. Very good. Yes, please do yourself a favor if you are interested in vampire romance. Ooh, now Rightfully Mine. This is and I don't recall what the Jade Royal. So Jade Royal was a new to me author. This is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a succubus. They are royals. I thought this was going to be a 5-star until it had one of the things that I absolutely detested, which is conflict avoidance on the author's behalf. I really struggled because we got really in, we were vibing, everything was going smoothly. We had conflict avoidance, and literally in that page, it was solved, and then the book was over. There was nothing that came after that. And so I'm going to put this at a yeah, no. Does that deter me for reading more Jade Royal? No, it does not. It just means that this one wasn't the thing that was groundbreaking for me, which I really hate because, like I said, up until I got into the 65% mark, which is really honestly odd because it was really the end, I loved it until I didn't. So that is the definition of yeah, no. Now, the third in the Charming series, I did read Charming as Hell. I got an art copy. This is by Sarah Blue. This is a reverse harem or white shoes romance between the daughter of Hell and 3 demons that I love. Now, Mara, absolutely unhinged. Most unhinged character I have ever read from. She actually is someone that by no means I would ever associate with. We would not be friends, but I also would not get on her dark side because she is a woman of her word and she can flip her switch. And by the time she flips her switch, baby, you are no longer in existence. Your soul ceased to exist. And for that, I'm going to understand and respect my boundaries. I may not like her, but I will respect her. I'm going to put her in the yes, please category. And I'm going to tell you, start from the beginning because you get to see the evolution of Mara. And you need to start with my favorite in the series, which is Charming Your Dad. Darling Nikki by Kenya Gori Bell. Oh, hell yes. Kenya Gori Bell knocks it out of the park every single time with this series. This is the third in the Blood Legacy series. Yes, it is dark. Yes, there are multiple content warnings. This is an age gap romance, taboo forbidden. This is a small town rivals romance that perfection. Kenya Gori Bell does it, and she does it with flair. When I say that this is unhinged, I don't necessarily just mean that the characters. Kenya herself is unhinged, and I love every single minute of it. My science fiction fantasy queen that I stand for is going to be Elizabeth. This Dark City Omega is her first foray into fantasy. It is an Omega verse. Elizabeth Stevens cannot do any wrong for me at this point. Dark City Omega is definitely heavy. It has some content warnings, but if you are a fan of fantasy, if you are a fan of white shoes romance, if you are an Omega verse fan, this is everything and more wrapped into one. I'm going to tell you, yes, please do yourself the favor. Pick it up, buy it, recommend it, tell it to a friend because it was a good time for me. Say My Name by Ashley James is going to go at oh hell yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it at yes, please. This is going to be a yes, please situation. Ashley James did a phenomenal job with this particular dark romance between 2 characters that actually really should never have gotten together originally. One of the male characters caught the other male character cheating, or he was the person that his boyfriend cheated with, and he became obsessed. And from there, it was a forced proximity, snowstorm situation that stemmed into a weekend of nothing but exploring each other and exploring carnal pleasures. And I loved it. Next, I've got Splintered by Isabel Lucero. This is a situation in which I loved it. It is going in oh hell yes. This is a travel romance. This is where you have a hockey player that has just won the championship. He goes on this island to take some time away to decompress and really enjoy the spoils of his win. He meets this guy that he went to high school with, and he has an inkling of who he is, but wants to create a friendship. And from that, they spend time at this resort that is centered around beautiful sandy beaches, waterfalls, and from there they create this bond and have this whirlwind romance. But then they come back home, and it's really about figuring out, can they continue to have that dream lifestyle that they had on the island back at home, and whether or not there's a place for each other's life. One is an adult film star, and the other one is a hockey star. And again, those two limelights do not mix. And then lastly, The Art of Scandal. This was the final book that I read for my older woman, younger man. This is a messy political romance that I absolutely enjoyed. Did I love the storyline for the romance? Not necessarily. I loved it for the family drama. I loved it for the political aspects. And I loved it because it was fresh and new. So this is actually going to go at a, yeah, I guess. I came in with preconceived notions. Again, I think this is something that, given the opportunity, I will probably reread and get a better experience from it. Did it hit, like I said, did it hit from a romance? No, but everything else about the situation I absolutely loved. And so that is going to cover the last 3 months for August, September, and October. I have actually more in the yes please than I thought I would. This is going to be my wrap up for the last 3 months. I want you all to tell me what you thought was your favorite read from the last 3 months. What would you recommend? What would you say is your least favorite read? And then if you don't want to do any of that, do me a favor and leave me a hockey emoji for Splintered. And I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.